exciting event that we had here at ACE, the Aspect Customer Experience event. Um, India represents just a phenomenal opportunity for both Aspect and just for the market in general. I mean, the millennial effect is only going to have a bigger impact here than almost anywhere. And the opportunity to engage with consumers differently is just sort of stunning. You know, when we think about the customers that showed up at the event and listened to sort of our view on how to do consumer engagement going forward, which is this mindset and a shift that says, let's start with self-service. Let's actually give the consumer the ability to both ask a question and get an answer, to change notifications into conversations, to actually put them in an environment where we're enabling them to be, empowered consumers. That's why the word engagement is so important to us. It's no longer, about companies talking at customers, but about engaging with customers so that they can actually get more benefit from the products and services that they use and buy. And so, we think that this is an interesting moment because of not just the market opportunity, but where technology has gone. Cloud computing is really, at this point, I think, just generally accepted in mainstream. And while we're still looking for probably some circumstance to validate that, we could look around the world and see that, whether it be Amazon Web Services or Google or Facebook or Microsoft, that they have built massive infrastructure that prove that cloud can really work. So cloud is now an enabler of rethinking how I engage with the consumer. And why is that? Well, first of all, it changes how I think about financing consumer engagement. I no longer have to put out a big capital bill. I can actually pay on a month-to-month basis. I can increase my capability. I can actually improve functionality as I go along. And I no longer have to have a dependence on just worrying about the operation. What I can worry about is, am I building and giving to my business partners the right kinds of tools that allow them to better engage with the consumer. So cloud, enabler of change, enabler of rethinking, enabler of actually winning in the marketplace. I think the other thing that I take away after spending the 2 days here is that in a market like India, where, with the 1.2 billion people and 600 million of them, under the age of 25, we look at, sort of what the millennial effect is going to have on businesses over the next 5 years. We've characterized this as Consumer Engagement 2020 because we actually believe that many of the winners and losers are going to be made in the marketplace in this 5-year period. And the reason is that the millennials have a different starting point for their expectations about how a company is going to serve them, about how technology plays a role in their life. They're actually tech dependent. They might not even be tech savvy. And what that means is that we can no longer give them sort of a traditional approach. We can't actually just have them only call a contact center. We've got to give them tools like SMS and Twitter and WhatsApp that allow them to host a question, pose that question back to the company, get an answer asynchronously, to be able to actually say, hey, listen, can I rent a car? When is my order coming? What's my bank balance? Any sort of form of question that they have, they can do it because they know how to type, they know how to text. They're already there. And so now we're putting in place tools and capabilities that's going to allow them to engage better. Other interesting fact that we found through some research we did looking at over 1,000 millennials and their perspectives on customer service is that they actually feel better when they themselves serve their own needs. They want that agent, if they talk to them, to be an expert. But the rest of the time, they would rather do self-service. And actually, I think that's sort of very fitting with sort of the way they grew up and the way the market has evolved. It's no longer just okay, for people not to be able to do things themselves. We're so used to now having the ability with our smartphones and our sort of thumbs to be able to do things And so we have to actually support that, not just in our sort of personal social lives, but in sort of the business and in the community that we support as customers. And so, fascinating opportunity ahead. The other thinking that we have here is that we don't actually have to always sort of know the answer going in, but we have to build a world where we're going to go test and learn. The tools in the cloud allow that to happen. We can bring up a contact center in the cloud in a couple of days. We can put a self-service environment in place, and we can actually allow for testing and learning by putting those tools in the hands of our customers, putting them in the hands of our agents, building this sort of community of capability, measuring the impact, and when it works, we go do it again and again and do it faster and faster. And if not, we should step back and think about how it is that we might need to change. One of the ways that we do that is through a journey mapping process. We actually look at the customer journey, and what we do is figure out what are the right next steps for that customer to take. Make sure that sentiment is high and positive. And when we have that, then we layer in the technology sort of almost invisibly behind the scenes to allow that to happen. So start with a journey mapping process, use cloud technology to allow you to test and learn, put it in the hands of the customers very quickly, take the feedback, and then make for better process. Put that as the approach going forward, and actually it can create magical customer experiences at the end of the day. We're really excited about the next few years of doing this with our customers, and coming off of the ACE event here in India, I couldn't be more thrilled to think about the art of the possible and partnering to do that.